Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Happy Mother's Day to everybody, every woman. And so I was just asleep, and when I woke up to a post that was sent to me of someone posting, just expressing themselves about how they felt on today about struggling today with not being able to conceive. So this post is for every woman out there who are struggling on today. Just only 3 years ago, I was in the same exact space. I literally was depressed. Do you hear me? Silently. A lot of us suffer in silence. A lot of people don't know what you're going through. A lot of people don't know what you're dealing with because you're dealing with it behind closed doors. But y'all, I know the feeling. I've been there. And so I'm making this video to just encourage anyone who needs to be encouraged and just share my story really quick because I feel led to about what God did for me. So this was almost 3 years ago, but I can't just start at 3 years. I'm going to start at the beginning, which was in 2014 when I had been bleeding for almost 30 days. And so, no, that was abnormal. I ended up going to the doctor. They ran some tests. Got a call one day when I was at work one evening, and it was a little lady letting me know that I had something called hydrosophaenics and PCOS. Now, I wasn't too worried at the moment about the PCOS because I used to watch Teen Mom, and I know that Macy on there had PCOS, and she, talked about a lot of other women having PCOS and still being able to conceive, so that didn't bother me. But the hydrosophaenics, before I could even look it up, the lady told me that this means that it may be hard for you to ever have a child. Immediately began crying on that phone, and the way she said it was just so with no emotion. Like, yeah, it's not your life, lady, but you could at least call me with a little. Anyway, so yeah, that was that. I'm crying at work. We were getting ready to close. I was in there by myself. And remember calling my mom and just crying to her and her telling me, Kira, she was like, don't worry, Kira. The doctor told me the same thing, that I couldn't have kids, and I ended up having 3. So just trust God. Trust God. It's easy for somebody to tell you to trust God. And she knew probably what it took to trust God. But it's easy in a moment to say these words, to tell someone to trust God. But it's hard to trust God. It's hard to do the action of that. And so I struggled for a while with it silently. Not many people knew even what I had going on or what I was going through. Y'all hear that? That's my child. That's my child. One of them. But anyway, not many people knew what I had going on. I didn't really share it with anybody because the enemy wanted to hurt me and break me with this news, with this diagnosis. And so I was ashamed, very ashamed, felt like something was wrong with me. And I had to go through it silently. I had to be silent in the face of every day, looking at people have children, looking at people complain about having children, complaining about their children, looking at people just having children so easily, getting abortions. And so I must speak on that because I had many times I talked many of people that was close to me down from having abortions. But that's all I would say on that. But I was suffering silently. Now, some of my friends, they knew what I was going through. Some people knew. And some of them disregarded it, or some of them forgot it. And we were young, so I don't hold them accountable for any of that. But I'm telling my truth. And so it was like I was suffering silently going through this thing, right? And my mother, if I'm being quite honest, it didn't bother her. It was like either she didn't care or she had all the faith for me, right? That's how I felt because she would hold me when I would cry out to her about it. But it was like she had all the faith, like she knew. Some things looking back, some things that I took to my mom, she was a mom. Like, I love my mom. I'm mourning my mom right now. This is my first Mother's Day without her. But anyway, let me do what God called me to do, which is this. So, yeah. And I must speak on God because I've always been a person that loved God. I've always been a person that went to church off and on, encouraged my friends and family, those close around me, to go to church, right? But I always ran from God. I knew I was called, but I always would run. Like, I still wanted to be in the world. I still wanted to do what I wanted to do. I still wanted to be young and have fun, basically. So I had a boyfriend at this time when I got this news that we had been together for years. we weren't really trying to have a baby, so it really didn't bother him. But just being a woman, having this diagnosis on you, it bothered me. And so anyway, that didn't last. But so I'm fast forwarding now, dealing with that for all these years, mostly silently. Now he did know, but mostly silently for around the people who are around me every day, right? I don't even think, my dad didn't even find out until late. I didn't tell nobody really. So anyway, fast forward, my now husband, we were not married, but when we got together, we were trying to have a child months in, right? Well, not just immediately, y'all, but we started trying to have a child. And I just remember month after month getting my cycle and being depressed, because every month when I would be hoping and wishing, I would look down and see blood. So I'm crying and going into this like depression. Cannot tell you how many pregnancy tests I've taken over the years, countless of them, okay? Never seen a positive one. And so, and he knew, my husband knew, but mind you, we were not married at this time. We were going to church together though. And, so that's that. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit more. 2021, matter of fact, in 2020, now I'm not gonna go into all the details because I made a post about it before, but basically I'm in church, and it's in 2020. The Lord had started giving me these prayers that I would be writing down, right? And anyway, he started helping me write this book called Prayers While You're Waiting on God. In 2020, he also wanted me, I kept getting an unction from the Holy Spirit to share my testimony of what the Lord had already done, which was, I had, having hydrosophonics. I was getting ready to get married in 2021. So in preparation for me getting married, I really wanted a child. So I had began to start, don't even let me get on the healthcare part of this thing. But anyway, I went to go take a test, right? HSG, I believe it's called. And it's where they insert dye in to see if one of your tubes are blocked or two of your tubes are blocked. Hydrosophonics causes one or two of your tubes to be blocked, which is how you are not able to conceive, right? So did this test. The first time I did the test, they let me know that, I can't remember if they said one or both of my tubes. I can't remember. But they said I had PCOS and some other stuff. So I was very discouraged. I believe both of them were blocked, and it was like, yeah. So the people that I went to at first, they were scared to. It's this thing that you could do while they're doing the test to try to unblock them. They were scared to do that because they were saying I had PCOS and some other stuff. They were like just scared. So, okay, cool. So that had me discouraged all over again. Cried. I remember my mom giving me flowers when I got out the test. It was such a beautiful, I love my mama. But so that was that. A few months later, right before we got married in September, I'm fast forwarding, that Mother's Day, which was 2021. I believe that's the day that I released my prayer workbook that God had told me to release. 2021 is when I really began giving my God my yes. That's when I got serious about the Lord. That's when I said, God, I will not run anymore. And so the Lord was just working on me. Ended up getting married that year. Right before I got married, I went and did the test again. When I did the test again, this doctor said that he would be willing to try to open them. Y'all, he opened them. Now, I may be butchering these dates, but it's around this time. And in my post on my page is the exact dates, like the exact things. So I'm in 2026 now, y'all. So, and I'm a mom of 3, so these dates may be a little butchered. But anyway, he ended up opening. I'm not gonna say he. I'm not even gonna say him. I know it's God, y'all. Anyway, I ain't even gonna, like, my story can go. I don't want to keep this too long, but I have an in-depth story to tell y'all about a lot of things. But I'm just trying to keep it brief. Okay, so God blessed me when I was on that table, and they ended up both opening. The people told me, if you don't get pregnant in 6 months, come back. Y'all, so I've gotten married now. I'm all in with the Lord, giving him my yes, right, as best as I knew how at that moment. So yeah, a lot of things transpired in my life in that time. 6 months go by, still not pregnant. I'm married now. I'm like, God, I'm married. I done went and got married. God, I'm trying to do this thing the right way. Can you please, Lord? Now, mind you, God, in 2020, I believe it was, God had gave me a vision of this little girl. And so I wasn't strong in my faith, so I didn't know that it was actual vision at the time. But I knew that I believed that the Lord was going to give me a child, right? Fast forward, I'm still not pregnant. 6 months go by. I'm struggling with if I should go back to the doctor. I'm hearing the Holy Spirit tell me no. I'm hearing his mom and my mom tell me, yeah, go back to the doctor, girl. Holy Spirit keep telling me no. So I end up not going back to the doctor, but I do go. You know how when God tell you something, but you acting like you ain't hear God and you listening to people. So I go do the MRI so that I can go back to the doctor because he's requiring an MRI. When I was on that table and my tubes got open, he told me that I had fibroids. He saw the fibroids. He argued me down that I had fibroids on that table. When I went and did the MRI, he said, you don't have fibroids, when I did the consultation over the phone of him showing me my results in the MRI. That's a miracle, okay? But anyway, I had to throw that in there. But anyway, so now he's like, okay, we can set up the appointment for whatever we need to do to try to get. I'm like, no. I didn't end up going through with it because the Lord told me not to, y'all. Anyway, the Lord had told me to, I remember at the end of 2020, he started telling me to share my testimony, what he had already done. I wanted this picture perfect testimony where I'm getting on social media telling these people that the doctor told me I can have a baby and God told me I can. So I didn't want to do it when the Lord told me to share my testimony. I wanted to do it when I was already pregnant, but the Lord kept telling me no. He kept unctioning me to share my testimony, what he had already done, because it was a miracle what he had already done. But because I was ashamed of what people would think of me or scared of what people would say, I was being disobedient. So finally, 2022 of February, I believe it was February 13th, I got on social media that night and I made a post, and it's still on my page to this day, about not knowing when somebody's going to call me mom. But I know one day they will. By faith, I did this post, and I shared what God had already done for me, right? I'm getting serious with the Lord. I'm listening to the Lord. I'm being obedient, right? Sharing. I got so much love. What the enemy wanted to use for evil, making me think that people would talk about me or say something's wrong with me because I had not had a child. It blessed so many people. I remember getting messages after message, people thanking me for posting, being obedient because they're going through the same thing, right? And how this blessed them. So that was that. I was obedient. Throughout that year, God dealt so strongly with me. I sought his face. I was trying my best to be obedient in everything that I heard. I was new in the faith, like of being serious with him, right? Long story short, y'all. And I'm skipping a lot of stuff because I don't have time. It's just a video, but feel free to message me. This is just to encourage anybody going through anything, because let me tell you how faithful God is. Remember, I dropped my prayer workbook that God told me to drop prayers while you're waiting on God. And y'all, concerning that, I'm about to start selling those again, plus some more. Like, I got to get on it, right? I have so much to say. If y'all can tell, I can run my mouth. But anyway, let me get back to the story, y'all, to my life. That was February 13th of 2022. Do y'all not know how faithful my God is? February 13th of 2023, I had been hearing the Lord tell me that I was pregnant. I was writing it down in my journals, but I wasn't believing. I wasn't believing all the way. Like, am I really hearing God? Because again, I'm new in my faith. And also, I'm just like, I've taken so many pregnancy tests, Lord. It haven't happened. I've been depressed like God. Listen to this. Prayers while you're waiting on God. Do y'all not know that God was waiting on me? I wasn't waiting on God, but he was waiting on me. That's one of the first things he told me when I got serious and I gave him my yes. Long story short, y'all, February 13th, 2023, I had ordered some pregnancy tests. And, you know, the next day was going to be Valentine's Day. I was like a week late on my period. But I had been late before, but not that late, so I knew something. But I also, y'all, I was still spotting, but it wasn't like a full period. Now, my periods would be heavy. I was still spotting a whole week later. I'm like, something going on. I was like, let me order some pregnancy tests. So I was like, I'm going to take this pregnancy test. And if it's positive, I'm going to surprise Ajan with it, which is my husband, for Valentine's Day. Y'all, I done took countless of pregnancy tests. So my sneaky stuff, because I'm trying to be sneaky about it, because I'm like, if I am pregnant, Lord, I want to surprise him for Valentine's Day. So I go in the closet and I take the test. I put the test in the closet and set it there and go pour the pee back out and all of that. So I'm doing it all in the closet. He's in his studio room. Y'all, I'm about to walk back in that closet. Do you hear me? Let me tell y'all, it's the closet. A closet, y'all. Walk back in my closet. That thing said pregnant. I could not contain myself. I went to his room and said, forget tomorrow, baby. I'm doing it today. Went to the room, honey. I opened the door, had the test in my hand. I just fell out, bust out crying, screaming, crying. And he looking at me like, baby, what's wrong? So I'm trying to show him the test while I'm screaming, crying. My mom running there like, who died? Who died? I'm telling him I'm pregnant, y'all. I'm pregnant. God is faithful. And so this video is for any woman out there who is struggling on this day with just feeling like you're not enough, or feeling like something is wrong with you, or feeling like God can't do it for you, because he can do it for you. I didn't even know until somebody made me realize that it was a year to the date of my obedience. And so I can't do this video and not include God, because it was God, y'all. I would be wrong to include this video, to do this video and not include him. I would be wrong to do this video and encourage you and not say, it's gonna be God. God is gonna have to do it for you. And so you're gonna have to get serious about God. You want God to get serious about you, you're gonna have to get serious about God, and you're gonna have to submit to his will for your life, whatever that looks like. But I just want to encourage you that God can do anything. Don't think he can't, because he can. It's not nothing that he cannot do. And he is no respecter of persons. So if he can do it for me, he can do it for you. He's waiting on you, baby. You may think you're waiting on God to do it for you, but God is waiting on you. God is waiting on you, I promise you. He's waiting on you to give him your yes. He's waiting on you to seek his face diligently, purposefully, to get serious about him. When you get serious about God, he's going to be serious about you. Stop running from God. Go listen to what God got to say about your situation. Don't listen to what them doctors say, and stop claiming everything. We are women. We were orchestrated to literally be nurturers. I was a mother long before I was a mother. I promise you can ask anybody who knew me. I was a mother before I was a mother. Use your words as a woman, as a virtuous woman of God, to speak life. Speak life over your situation. Yesterday, the Lord just told me, speak his word. Declare his word over your situation, over your body. Y'all, in my video that I posted, I used to every single night take holy oil that I prayed over. Take holy oil and pray over my own stomach. I would be declaring, praying over it every single night. Every single night, I promise y'all. God is faithful. I just wanted to come on here and encourage whoever needs to and share this not this little testimony, but my testimony with y'all. I love y'all, and I'm sending y'all so much love on today. Anyone who is mourning the loss of their mother, anyone who is just longing to be a mother, happy Mother's Day to every woman.